Good morning, Year 2. So for our spelling lesson this morning, we are looking at some words that end in EY. So they all end in an E sound, but the spelling pattern is an E and a Y. So I'm going to tell you what each word is, and then I want you to have a go at writing the word. So remember, you're going to pause it in a minute, have a go at writing them, and then I'll fill in the correct spellings. So up the top here, we've got a trolley, a shopping trolley. Maybe I'll try and join my EY up. We've got a turkey. We've got some money. We've got a chimney. And then this is a pot of honey. And they're playing hockey. There's a monkey. A donkey over there. This one I think is meant to show a journey. So it's journey. That's quite a very tricky one to spell, that one is. And over here, this is a picture of a valley, which is normally sort of two hills either side and a river going down the middle. So have a go at writing out those words, and then I'll give you the correct spellings so you can make any changes. Let's see how many you got correct the first time. So let's start with trolley. So it's tr. It's an O sound, so it is a double letter, a trolley. Then we've got a turkey. There's lots of different ways of writing the sound. In turkey, it's r, and then it's a kicking k. Money, that's a bit tricky. It's a bit like Monday. It sounds like an r, but it's actually an o. So it's like money, just like when you write Monday. Chimney has got a ch, I, then a m, then an n. So chimney. Honey is very much like money. So it sounds like an R, but it's actually an O. So it's honey. So if you put an R for both of those, can you make sure you change it? Right, hockey. So it's a H, O, and it's both of the K's, the curly K and the kicking K. So monkey, that's similar again to honey and money. It sounds like a M-R, but it's actually an O again. So it's mon-key. So those three words, monkey, honey, and money, have all got that in common. They've all got an O standing for an sound. Right, valley, V-A, and it's a double L because it's an A sound. So valley. Then we've got donkey, and this one makes more sense because it's got an on sound and it's got an on, and then a kicking K for donkey. And journey, this one is very hard because it sounds like it's ER. It's actually a whole long trigraph there, journey. I think it comes from a French word, so that's quite a tricky one to spell. So make sure you've now got the correct spellings written down. This week we're going to use a familiar text to inspire some of our writing. Now the story is called Handa's Surprise, and you might have seen this story in Nursery or Reception because I think it's part of some of their topics, and it's by Eileen Brown. Now this is a fiction text, so let's think about what were the features of fiction. How do we know it's fictional and it's not true? It's not a non-fiction book. So first of all, you can see there's an illustration on the front cover. And remember, illustration is another way of describing a drawing or a painting in a book. So it starts off with an illustration, and the illustration is actually of the main character. So stories have characters. And it also shows a bit of the setting. And the setting is where a story happens. So we've got an illustration, we've got characters, we've got a setting. And there's also a plot to this story, and that means there's a beginning, a middle and an end. And normally in a story plot there's a problem. So something happens, there's a problem, and then there's a resolution at the end, and the problem is sorted out. Now I'm going to read you this story. I've also put a link in the description to an online version where they animate some of the illustrations, which is quite nice to watch. As you listen to the story, I want you to notice that the words are telling a different story to the pictures. It's like there's two stories running alongside each other. One is what's happening in the words, and the other story is happening in the pictures. So the story is set in Kenya in Africa, and in the front piece of the book there are some of the fruits that grow in Kenya. And the author is Eileen Brown. And it actually says over here that she'd like to thank the people who helped her in her research from the Kenyan tourist officer. And it says the children featured in this book are from the Luo tribe of southwest Kenya. So although it's like a fairy story, it's made up, it's a bit magical, she has based it on a real place. Handa put 7 delicious fruits in a basket for her friend Akeo. She will be surprised, thought Handa, as she set off for Akeo's village. And if you look, Handa's got like a ring on her head to balance the basket. And that's quite a common thing to do in Africa, is to carry things on your head. One thing, it means your arms are free and it's a lot cooler. It actually shades your face as you're carrying it. I wonder which fruit she'll like best. And each page has a little clue to what's going to happen next. Will she like the soft yellow banana? Or the sweet-smelling guava? There's also a clue to what's just happened. Will she like the round, juicy orange? You can see the ostrich. Or the ripe red mango? Will she like the spiky-leaved pineapple? The creamy green avocado? Or the tangy purple passion fruit? Which fruit will Akeo like best? Hello, Akeo, said Handa. I've bought you a surprise. Tangerines, said Akeo. My favourite fruit. Tangerines, said Handa. That is a surprise. And at the back of the book are all the animals that appeared in the story. But you might notice none of these animals were mentioned, because the story's told from Handa's point of view. So it doesn't mention a monkey, ostrich, zebra, elephant, giraffe, antelope, parrot, goats. Even though you see them in the story, the words don't tell you what they're doing or what's happening. Another thing that the words don't tell you about is the setting. The setting isn't described at all. You need the pictures in this book to tell you about where it's set. The only thing it says is that it's in a village. So let's just have a look at some of the pictures with the setting and see if we can think about how we can describe them. So first of all, you need to look at what's actually in the pictures. We start off, remember, with the nouns. So we've got some cattle in the background, some cows there. There are some pots. We've got some grass. And there was lots of grass later on in the story because the animals were hiding in the grass. There's sort of dusty earth, isn't there? There's definitely, you can see the sky. And you can see that a lot more in some of the later pictures as well. There's some more of the sky up there. We've got some trees. We've got some plants. I think I can guess what those plants are actually. And there's a chicken there. So more clay pots, so we've got some children. And we've got some houses, or you might call them huts. So once we've got lots of earth down here, haven't we? Once we've thought of the things that are in the pictures, remember then we think of the adjectives to describe them. Once we've got the nouns, let's see if we can make some noun phrases. So we've got a dusty orange path, got tall yellow grass. So in that picture, I think that's more the maize, the corn. It's later on that she goes through the grass. We could have the buzzing insects. We could have busy villagers. We could have, the bright blue sky, I think. The bright blue sky. We've got some, I can see there, we've got banana trees. The tall, I'm going to write the tall, lonely acacia trees, because those are the ones that you often see in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the savannah. So small, these huts are round, aren't they? Small, round mud huts with straw roofs. We've got the blazing hot sun. The red dusty earth. And the huge clay pots. They are quite big, aren't they? Huge clay pots. So those are some ideas for the different parts of the setting and how you could describe it. Remember, we've still got the cattle, haven't we? Got the chickens. I think there might even be a dog there. Might be a dog running off into the background. So your challenge is to describe the setting for the story, to describe the village. Your TRP for the task is, can I describe a setting using noun phrases? So you're going to do what the author doesn't do and actually describe where the story starts. So I've had a go at this myself, and so I've given you the start. It was a boiling hot morning in Handers village in Kenya. So we've already got 2 bits of description there, haven't we? We've got it was boiling hot. Little children played happily outside the mud houses whilst their parents worked. Insects buzzed in the tall yellow grass and chickens pecked at the dusty red earth. The blazing African sun shone in the bright blue sky as Handa packed her basket. So let's see if we can find the describing words. So we've got mud houses, we've got tall yellow grass, we've got dusty red earth, we've got blazing African sun, and we've got the bright blue sky. And there's also, I think there's one adverb in there somewhere, happily. So you don't need that many. You don't need that many adjectives and adverbs. Those are just some ideas. So it's just 2 or 3 sentences just describing where the story starts. And you can start off by copying that bit. It was a boiling hot morning in Handers village in Kenya. And then pretend you're writing the story without pictures. Pretend you're writing a book that has no pictures, and you've got to describe what her village in Kenya is like, because the people reading the book don't know. So good luck with that, and I look forward to hearing some of them later.